You're allowed to let this holiday season be different. In fact, it can have less chaos and more calm. There's this invisible rule that says that you have to power through grief, show up perfectly for the holidays, and keep all of your commitments, especially as women. Even harder if you have ADHD. But what if that rule is actually destroying the very peace we're desperate to create? Picture this. You're holding a glass of water. Not heavy at first, but hold it for an hour and your arm will start to shake. Hold it all day and your whole body will cramp. The weight didn't change, but time made it unbearable. That's what happened when my mother-in-law passed this October. Life handed me this pause, and instead of setting the glass down, I almost kept holding it. I almost powered through launch mode, holiday obligations, the whole shebang. Until I realized the pause wasn't interrupting my life. It was protecting it. Grief sorts life for you. It makes the essential things shine through and lets the non-essential fall away. So instead of adding more to December, what if we subtracted? What if less chaos actually created more calm? Right? Less chaos, more calm. There's a point every year when the world seems to speed up. I think we're already in it. Invitations, expectations, deadlines, traditions, and all the invisible emotional labor that lands squarely on the shoulders of women. Especially difficult for those of us who have ADHD in midlife. But this year, life handed me that pause long before the holiday season even began. We got the call that my mother-in-law had been given her last rites. Within hours, we had packed bags and drove north to be at her bedside. What followed were 7 long days of sitting, waiting, comforting, and simply being together as a family as she slowly slipped away. The next week was all about funeral arrangements, family gatherings, and the kind of exhaustion that settles deep in the bones. There was no question in my mind what to do. I've got my values written right in my desk: health, family, freedom. And I live them now, so I don't always need that visual reminder. Sometimes I do. So I pressed the pause button. Work, my launch of the ADHD Focus Framework, which is my favorite program. Anything that was essential to my family or my own nervous system. It wasn't an easy 2 weeks, but it was an easy decision. There's something no one tells you about forced rest. Your body will teach you lessons your mind refuses to learn, if you're brave enough to listen. Cancer was my first teacher. It didn't ask permission to slow me down. It just did, like a circuit breaker that flips when the system is overloaded. My body said, not today, not tomorrow, maybe not next month. I fought it at first because that's what we're taught to do. But stillness became my survival skill. So when grief arrived 10 years later, I recognized the signs, that familiar heaviness, the way my nervous system whispered, sit down. This time, I didn't fight the circuit breaker. I was grateful for it. ADHD burnout is the real thing, y'all. In grief amplifies everything. So I gave myself permission to sit in the quiet, let presence matter more than productivity. I thought I was done learning, but then another wave arrived. A few weeks later, I attended the International Conference on ADHD, a gathering I look forward to every year. It was incredible, inspiring speakers, powerful connections, deep conversations, and so many brilliant neurozesty humans in one place. More on what I learned coming soon. It filled me up, but it also cracked something open. Somewhere between sessions, in the quiet of my hotel room, alone, walking back to the conference, at breakfast, you name it, the grief returned. Not as sharply as before, but still like a tidal wave, reminding me, you're still healing. And I realized I wasn't ready to return to normal. I wasn't ready to ramp back up. I still needed the pause. So instead of coming home and jumping into launch mode, I made a different and very hard choice to keep things slower, softer, and more intentional, especially heading into the holidays. The hardest thing about being a teacher, sometimes you have to cancel the class to live the lesson. I was staring at my intentional-ish holiday workshop outline, the one my community loves, the one that fills me up every year, and I felt like fraud. How do you teach calm when your heart is still learning to breathe again? It's like trying to teach someone to swim while you're still figuring out how to float. The integrity hit me like a ton of bricks. I can't guide people to a place I'm still trying to find myself, at least in the short run. So I made the scariest business decision of the year. I pressed pause on teaching how to pause. This holiday season, I'm living it. Less chaos, more calm, fewer shoulds, more truth. And sometimes the most honest thing you can do is admit, I'm still in the pause, still learning, still becoming. That is the essence of holiday calm. Grief is the world's most efficient life coach. It cuts through your to-do list like a laser, separating what actually matters from what you think should matter. On the Sunday before Thanksgiving, I was staring at this 9-foot Christmas tree in my living room, the dream tree I bought because we finally have high ceilings. I was so excited. Half the lights didn't work. I was on a ladder for the 5th time, and every part of me was screaming, no, this is a lot of work. Old me would have powered through, climbed that ladder 20 more times, made it perfect, given the Pinterest picture perfect holiday. But here's what I know about ADHD brains, and mine, and the holidays. We already burn through our executive function, just managing December's sensory overload, the lights, the music, the crowds, the constant decisions. Why would I waste what little energy I have left wrestling with a tree that's fighting me back? So I took the dang tree down, packed it up, schlepped it half an hour north, and returned it. My new manageable and lit tree stands proudly with me, feeling so much less stress. Unclearing holidays isn't about doing less just to do less. It's about doing less so you can feel more peace, more connection, more breath. When you stop performing Christmas and start experiencing it, everything changes. And by the way, equal opportunity holiday thing here. It doesn't just have to be Christmas. So this counts for Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, you name it. Let's talk about the real holiday magic. Want to know the dirty secret about holiday perfectionism? The harder you work to create magic, the more you actually stifle it. Think about the best holiday memory you have. I bet it wasn't the year everything went perfectly. It was probably the year something went wrong. The burnt cookies that you laughed about, the crooked tree, the moment someone said, forget the dishes, and you all played a game instead. That's because connection doesn't happen in the performance. It happens in the pause between performances. Here's what that power through mentality actually costs you. Your presence, your peace, and ironically, the very magic you're trying to create. The holidays aren't supposed to be endured. They're supposed to be experienced. So here's what I'm taking into this season. Belonging, not busyness. Ease, not expectation. Presence, not performance. Sometimes that looks like saying no. Sometimes it looks like calling the bare minimum good enough. You don't owe anyone a picture perfect holiday. You owe yourself the peace of choosing presence over pressure. I opted out of my workshop, but I still wanted to offer something meaningful, supportive, generous, accessible, especially in a year when everything feels more expensive and everyone is stretched thin. So I created a super easy, low-stress guide, and it's free. All you have to do is click the link in the comments for this intentional-ish holidays guide, which has gentle prompts, simple shifts, and permission to do December differently. You know what no one tells you about permission? You don't need to earn it, justify it, or apologize for it. You just need to give it to yourself. December isn't designed for ADHD brains like ours. Remember that overstimulation, the executive function demands, the emotional regulation, all are required just to survive family gatherings. You don't need to earn permission to simplify. You just need to give it to yourself. Think of the season like the oxygen mask on an airplane. You know how they say put your own mask on first? December is that airplane, turbulent, pressurized, everyone gasping for air. But we keep trying to help everyone else breathe while we're suffocating. What if this year you put your mask on first? What if choosing calm isn't selfish, it's survival? What if letting this holiday season be different isn't giving up, it's growing up? Uncluttering the holidays is an act of courage, an act of self-respect. Less chaos, more calm, more room to breathe. You don't need my permission, but I'm giving it anyway. You're allowed to let this season be different. And when you're ready for support that honors your pace, not pushes it, I'm right here with you. One way to start is to get that free guide, which you'll find in the comments below. I'm wishing you the most blessed and wonderful of holidays.